Hello and welcome everyone to the OB Builders Cup Series, live from virtual EchoPark Speedway here on Grid Vision. I'm Sheldon Atkins, joined in the booth by Austin Derbyshire, and, well, guess what? Austin Derbyshire. Yeah, for some reason they let the two of us have well, yep, there we go. Ready to lost some words? By the way, Austin, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little bit nervous myself about actually speaking to everyone, but happy to be here. Happy to be at EchoPark Speedway, available at Walmart, as I learned it's actually called today. But yeah, we're here for some great fast-paced action around this track in Atlanta, Georgia, or just outside Atlanta, rather.
Yeah, Hampton, Georgia, really unique layout here since we got the update a couple years ago with the repave, opting for more of a super speedway on a mile and a half. So we get the picks ready to go here, and I got to go with the man that's probably having the most fun out of anybody this week. I'd go with Roger Ears Pierce. Pretty sure we got a picture to pull up at some point later on this evening, but he's sitting there with the old drinking cap on.
Who it's already there.
Darby? Oh, there we are. Look at that. Look at that. That is pure America right there, if I've ever seen it.
And I have to go with Derek Heitman after last night and the drive that we saw out of him. I don't think there's a whole lot of passing that we're going to be seeing tonight. Maybe in the later stages, but I think pretty much whoever gets out front is going to pretty much stay out there.
And who do you also pick, Darby?
Same one.
You didn't have a split pick? Pick, so we're going double Heitman.
Yes.
Well, I mean, with the pace that we've seen on Heitman the past few weeks and the fortune starting to favor him, it's a good way to go, but either way, now we are winding up to our starting grid here, and starting on the pole this evening is going to be the man and the alcoholic himself, Roger Pierce, on the front row with Sean Conklin to the outside. Derek Heitman throwing off the grid here third with Brandon Passalacqua in fourth. Fifth place is going to be Tim Mortman Jr. with Randy Mullins his outside in sixth, followed by Randy Belk in seventh and Tommy Gossett in eighth. And then round out your top 10 here, it's going to be Joseph Gulata and Adam Benefiel.
All right, going to do exactly what I tell everyone not to do, read directly off the screen, but starting in 11th, Matt DeCiani and Patrick Gitter on his outside. Evan Say in P12, or 13 rather, Shane Clore 14. 15 will be Chad Kibbe and Joseph Causey from Miami, Florida in 16th. 17th is Chris Vincent, Chris Hudson in 18th, the whole row. Chris is there. Lou Christian on the inside, Alex Coffey after him, and that's on you.
And 21st place, we got Alexander Carr with Justin Levine starting his outside. 22nd is going to be Chris Davis. 23rd is going to be Paul Gallimore with... Oh, my God. And the grid has broken on me since the car started moving. Greg Carr is going to be starting to the inside behind them with John Bender to the outside. Then followed is going to be Richard Kleiman with Dustin Motley, as now I have to go to the screen. And now we got a blank row.
Yeah, because we went through them all. Yeah. Alex Carr, Chris Davis, Greg Carr, Paul Gallimore, John Binder, Richard Kleiman, Justin Levine, Chris Crosby, and Dustin Motley. Field.
I'll tell you what, one thing that I'm interested to see here today, I mean, we saw it yesterday in NIS, and also hats off to these guys for putting together a really good race yesterday evening, because these super speedways can get really dicey. I'm expecting even better here with the OB Builders Cup with these long races, but these guys really fighting with the handle here this week at Atlanta. The cars look like they're on edge from the drop of the green flag to the checkered. So this is going to be quite a show here as the iRacing pace car leads us through 3 and 4, ready to set the field back into the hands of Roger Pierce and Sean Conklin. And it's going to be a long one here tonight too, for sure. The pace car makes the descent down pit road as these guys work themselves into the OB Builders restart zone. Side by side, and the green flag is in the air. Roger Pierce going to get a good launch here, but it's going to come down to if Derek Heitman is able to attach to the rear bumper as to who's going to go into turn 1. Right now, the outside lane forming up just a little bit quicker, but not able to make anything of it, though. As Derek Heitman does get to the back bumper, the 27 machine is going to push him right down through 1 and 2. Roger Pierce going to lead down the back straightaway, and Sean Conklin kind of gets hung out to dry here as Brandon Passalacqua ducks down from the top row to the inside.
Sean Conklin on the outside. Now he is the only vehicle on the outside. As I say that, we got Patrick Gator coming up right behind him and going to his outside.
And Patrick Gator
back behind him.
Yeah, Patrick Gitter kind of just doesn't look like he wanted to get up to the back bumper. The 10 machine went to the top, tried to pull a side draft to stall him, wasn't able to make anything work of it, and ducks right back in behind Tommy Gossett. But the field immediately going to the single file procession here, which definitely the smart move. I mean, we got a lot of laps on hand here. 175 laps from Atlanta. This is a very long distance race, especially to be packed up like this. So everybody going for a little bit of a fuel saving and a honestly preservation strategy here.
Roger Ears Pierce leading them around in his Fortnite scheme. He probably has got the beer cap on if it's willing to stay on his head while he's driving around. But we definitely know that he has what it takes from him, especially the past few weeks.
Oh yeah, Pierce is you know, when I first started covering up here in the booth, you know, Pierce was somebody that I looked at that I was like, wow, man, that guy's got a lot of talent. I don't know how you can get much better than that. And honestly, man, it just seems like it's constantly shooting for the stars here for the 27 machine. Every week, it just seems like he's just a little bit better than the week before. And I'm impatiently waiting for the day that he's able to get it all clicked together and we get to talk to him here in the broadcast booth somewhere outside of second or third, because I know that's going to be a party.
Oh, it's coming.
Especially.
It's on the grill.
Absolutely. Especially since he's sitting there with the limited edition Busch Light Lime. 2 on the head and 2 in the front pockets.
There's Busch Latte Lime?
Yes, apparently. I'm actually going to have to go check that out myself because I mean, these weird offshoot Busch flares have been getting the past handful of years pretty dang good, especially the Busch Apple. Let's see that made a return this year.
Don't think we have that in communist Canada.
No, you guys don't have anything that's good for you like Cash App, for instance.
Cash App. For not when you want to pay Grid Vision.
Anyway, 6 laps on the board right now. Most of the field single file. A couple of stragglers trying to make that top line work. As we look at Joseph Causey right here in the thick of it. Right behind the 72 machine is Shane Clore. These guys sitting right now 11th and 13th last time across the line. And Chris Vinson. But, I mean, we're used to seeing that 33 machine go where nobody else goes.
Yes, we have. Well, week in, week out, we do usually see Chris Vinson try some things that other drivers will not do, whether it be successful. And sometimes it is, but quite a few times we have seen the past few weeks it was not successful. Hopefully it works out for him this week.
Yeah, we're hoping so. I mean, Chris is also one of those guys that, you know, he kind of really needs to just get the momentum going, get some good runs in. Has had a couple incidents, you know, here and there scattered throughout both the NIS season as well as here in the OB Builders Cup. So definitely want to get those points moving forward. What he wants today is just a good, quiet day to get out there, make some moves, but nothing too dicey, too froggy that's going to, you know, possibly backfire on him and take him out of the thing before he even gets a shot to get out there and see what he's got.
One thing I am noticing that is quite considerably different from last week last night, is the outside lane does seem to be having more traction on the outside, moving forward and back. Could that just be temperature related, or was it maybe just the fact that it was an efficient race last night?
I mean, it could be a whole bunch of different causes. I mean, right now, too, you know, a lot of times that we saw the outside line kind of struggle last night, it was the first 2 cars on the outside lane weren't necessarily guys that we think about having a whole lot of pace. Right now, you got some fast cars up there. You know, we got Causey up here. That's a fast piece of equipment he brings to the track every week. Chris Vinson sitting there behind him. Pretty scrappy driver. Team Watson always bringing good equipment as well. You know, it's a mixed bag, and it also depends, too, on just how aggressive the guy is behind you, trying to push you, as to if that outside lane is going to, you know, bear any fruit at any point in the run.
Right on board with Chris Vinson as we see what it takes to try and push on the outside.
I'll tell you what, I get so nervous every time going to the outside here at Atlanta. I don't know how it is in the Cup car. I'll find that out tomorrow night in NIS. But every time I run the B car here, it's like the right front splitter just hooks into the track no matter what set, what season it is, and tries to shoot you up about a lane and a half. You see a little bit of a snug condition right there for Causey as he washes up about a half lane, tucks it back down, kind of a late diamond. You know, if he had it his way, he'd just be up to the back bumper all the way through the corner, though.
Yeah, super speedway racing at a place like Talladega, you know, it's a Dixie Chick song, wide open spaces here, not so much. You were in a cage.
It is so nerve-wracking here. I like, you know, the visuals that we get when we come here. But once this track wears down in about 5-6 years and they finally pull the plates off, it will be a happy day for me.
I just don't understand why they did it to this track. Like, I love the concept, and I'm happy we have it, but to sacrifice the Atlanta that we had, it just hurts. It hurts so much.
Not like Texas, man. They could have done to Texas. It would have been 2 birds, 1 stone.
And hey, I like New Texas. I'm that weirdo. I'm kind of a pervert, I guess, when it comes to that.
Oh,
I'm the only one. It's like, what's your kink? I like Texas.
Oh my lord. Well, I do like the I mean, I like driving the layout. Don't get me wrong, but on TV, it doesn't deliver for me.
Oh, Sean Conklin to the outside, trying to make a move around the 28.
And Conklin trying to make something happen. Nobody up to go with him. Throws a late block on his teammate Tommy Gossett, and that was almost a hairy moment here through the quad oval. Because Sean wasn't necessarily clear. Almost turned himself off the front bumper of the 07 machine.
And today on What is Tommy Gossett Racing This Week? He has a military paint. U.S. Air Force.
Yeah, U.S. Air Force. A really clean-looking paint, too.
Very nice paint.
Been a
kind of fitting right now with recent current events.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I am surprised he didn't paint the thing up stealth black like a B-2 bomber, but hey, you know, good restraint there, Tommy.
Taking a look backward is Joseph Causey, still lone car leading the pack on the outside. Chris Vincent behind him. Justin Levine pushing his way up in the 19 there.
Yeah, this is the thing about Causey. He's going to stay up there as much as he possibly can. When I think of persistency with a driver, Causey will stay up there and annoy the ever-loving hell out of you all the way through a run. He will not give up. If he has an opportunity to make a spot up and he thinks that he can find a way to make it work, he's going to try and hang it out there, and that's what we're seeing right now to the 88 machine is work down the back straightaway, but it's definitely the limited success because that bottom line is just so stacked up right now. These guys are really moving. But, you know, we did see that point last night, too, in NIS, you know, around lap 25, lap 30. The bottom lane kind of came apart because it seemed like the tires started to fade on the lead cars and the checkup started rolling. And once that happens, it opens the opportunity for the outside line to really make some moves. It's going to be interesting to see if we see a little bit more of that here in the next coming laps.
My monitor is really tiny. Can you tell what time it says it is?
9:41. Right.
Maybe.
Oh, here we go. got a couple cars shaking it up right now. One machine moving up to the outside lane here. Evan Say leading the 20 machine of Alex Coffey. So a couple of these guys getting tired of riding around here, trying to get out here, mix it up, and possibly make up a couple spots here as we are about to hit lap 20 here at the start-finish line.
Well, that's how it goes. You can only stay single file for so long. You know, you get 29 people in a group. You're going to race. It's going to happen.
The most miserable I've ever been on iRacing in all the years I've been here was my best Daytona 500 finish. It was the old 2017 package. And man, I've ran second from the green flag to the checkered flag. Nothing happened. We were just single file all race. Just because you couldn't do anything. It's you get bored. The ADHD starts to take over once you're stuck single file for too long. As we see Evan Say trying to make something happen now off the front bumper, the 88 machine of Joseph Causey. They're working that high line, but it's not happening right now. These guys, they need a lot more guys to go with them, and I just don't see that happening anytime soon.
I'd say for me, it was like one of the first couple weeks that we had green-white checkers on iRacing, and coming to the finish line about 20 feet from the finish line, yellow came out, and I lost because of that. It was brutal.
The green-white checkers being added was definitely something I wasn't excited about. Won a lot of races.
It made it more fun though in the end.
Won a lot of races on fuel mileage because I knew they were going to wreck somewhere with like 5 to go, and I just stayed out there.
Oh yeah, the good old days of just stacking the field on your old tires, and everyone's up fresh because you know they're all gonna wreck anyway.
Oh man, there was a couple times where I had to yell at, my buddy Frank, just like, "Hey man, push me across the line, I'm out." I was a menace back then. But either way, Roger Pierce, the menace right now, up here leading the pack with Derek Heitman all over the back bumper. And Brandon Pasolak was sitting in third, followed by Randy Mullins. So a handful of teammates up here at the front of this thing. And we saw, how important that team play was last night with the Ryko lockout in NIS. And it looks like they're on track to attempt the same thing, but, they've got a more mixed bag directly behind them, though, with these Paradigm machines.
Yeah, definitely a different combination of drivers that we saw last night, but same players up near the front.
Yeah, special teams, special plays, special players.
Tap your head in something.
Oh, absolutely. Right now, just single file conga line right all the way through the pack here at EchoPark Raceway. So weird. So weird to have to say that.
Available at Walmart.
Available at Walmart. But 25 laps on the board now. Roger Pierce has led every single one of them. We've seen a lot of stuff here at the Super Speedways, but I know that you're not necessarily the biggest fan of this package, Darby. So I don't think that I'm alone in it for a change. Because normally I find I'm the person that gripes about the most ridiculous thing.
No, and I'm usually the most positive person because I don't race a whole lot. So I just go by what I see as a broadcaster. Like, I think last year, you could have some of the worst drivers on this service and the Cup car race is still entertaining. Not so much this year. These guys are entertaining, definitely, but because they are the best that we have to offer. But the package is not helping them at all.
No, not at all. It just seems like these guys can't break that bubble of air to the car in front of them.
Speaking non-entertaining, Justin Levine now getting pushed by Joseph Kazi.
Now, if you want to see the biggest characters in the field, well, you got Roger Pierce up at the front. You got Joseph Kazi right there in the 88 machine. That right there, that would be a cursed Discord to hang out in after a couple drinks. I can promise you that.
I'll throw Edstrom in there.
Is Ed even running tonight?
No, he is not on track.
Why
tonight.
is he out? He could have been up here with us.
This is true. Austin, if you are watching, come join us.
Please. Darby's begging. As we watch Levine trying to make something happen with that top line, but we've seen how difficult it is so far for the first 30 laps. And it just seems like they're getting up there on that outside lane. And it's just stalling out as soon as they start to build the run.
Yeah, we see Chris Hudson edge out enough, and actually, Chris Vincent as well, getting ahead of Justin. But then as soon as they go around the corner, that inside line does slow up a bit. But not enough in the whole scheme of the lap.
It feels so backwards compared to what we're used to with like Daytona and Talladega, right? Like the outside line always gets a really good run middle of the straightaway. And here at Atlanta, it's the other way around because the momentum's weird. Like these guys are getting really good runs in the center of the corner, but it's only in the center. It's like when they come to corner exit and down the straightaway, it just all evaporates.
Yeah, well, last time we were here, I believe the racing line was as close to the wall as you could be.
Yep.
And then it was the exact opposite. Same with tracks like Dega and Daytona, which those tracks wasn't that entertaining when the draft was like that. But Atlanta, it was more entertaining. So now we got the opposite. So maybe when we get to Daytona and Talladega, we're going to be seeing them back to the inside line again, as is with tradition.
Yeah, it definitely will be interesting to see what comes up in the coming weeks here. Because I mean, we're pretty far out from Daytona still. As you see Justin Levine getting a good launch on the outside line, getting side by side with the 20 machine of Alex Coffey. So a little bit more momentum.
Well, Talladega will be this season for sure.
Being able to snake his way up now to about the 16th spot, trying to make a move now on the outside of the 74 machine of Chris Davis. It seems like these guys are really getting a little bit of a charge going now. I'm wondering if there's, the tires are starting to fade on these guys on the bottom lane. Then again, you do also have the dream team of super speedways working together right now, too.
All right, what do we got going on mid-pack here? Well, as soon as we say that, we do see that outside is starting to become the mid-pack. They are moving out of nowhere.
Yeah, and that's why I'm wondering if it's just maybe the inside line, the tires are starting to burn just a little bit. Because you see these guys coming out of the corner now, instead of running shallow down to the red line all the way around the track, these guys are coming up trying to breathe it a little bit, try to open up the wheel, keep the momentum going. So I'm thinking that we might have a couple cars battling with a little bit of a tight condition, and it's just causing them to lose a lot of momentum up off the corner. Now the top line's starting to charge with just the ability to use a little bit less wheel and keep the pedal down a little bit longer.
Yeah, it looks like we did see a few of those cars on the inside do throw up some sparks that we weren't seeing earlier, but it is getting darker as well, so that could be a factor. But definitely a little bit of scrubbing on the inside there.
And what Justin Levine just did was so cool. They got up to the back of the 72 machine of Shane Clore. Shane was a little bit slower, stuck on the outside line. What Justin does is he ducked down into the hole that Shane Clore's machine left, and then used that to snake around in front, pull extra momentum, and slingshot past the machine. And they still ended up finding a way to cycle out the 72. He's up to the top lane now, up against the fence, losing some time here. But now Justin Levine picking up the 98 machine of Joseph Gulatas. Gulatas trying to make a little bit of a mid-stint charge at the front here.
I believe that is the precision P for the race team there, US America, in chat on Alex Coffey.
Oh, the more you learn. Just too many P's. Sorry about that. Between the Paradigm guys and the Precision, and there's just teams all over the place right now. Right now, though, Tommy Gossett goes to the outside, and Sean Conklin's going to go up here with him. This right now, this outside line has pulled itself up to about the 6th position, as Sean Conklin trying to pull a bit of side draft on the 21 machine of Patrick Gitter here on the front straightaway, and waiting ever so patiently for Tommy Gossett to give him a shot here into this front, into turn 1.
Now you got me confused. Did I say Paradigm or Precision?
20 machine is Precision.
Yes, Precision.
And the 2 machines up at the front of Pasalacqua and I believe Mullins are both Paradigm.
This is correct.
Now, this Paradigm, guys, sponsored by the wonderful title sponsor of the series here, OB Builders.
I gotta say, it was cool to actually see like that logo that sponsors a league that we broadcast on an actual race car in ARCA. Actually, I think they sponsor a couple high races as well.
Yeah, it's really cool seeing the bleed through from iRacing to real life and vice versa. Like heck, yesterday one of my buddies got his tail beat by Corey Heim in the Truck Series at Lime Rock on here. So
as everyone in NASCAR is used to have happen.
Mm-hmm. I loaded into what felt like a early 2000s Cup Series lobby yesterday at Bristol. I was in there with Shane Meal, Shane Huffman, and Marty Lindley, of all people. It's Connor Zilich's crew chief, renowned short track racer, son of the legend Butch Lindley. I was in a Bristol practice session with Marty Lindley. That was It always makes you happy to see the real guys get on because it makes this feel like it's more valuable than you typically do. And really makes you gain a lot of respect for some of these guys like Sean Conklin up on the outside line here, who statistically are leaps and bounds ahead of these guys just on the sim. Really makes you wonder what these guys would be like once they get behind the wheel of a real car.
Well, when you and I are old men sitting on rocking chairs on the porch, whittling, we're going to be talking about how we used to call races that Sean Conklin, NASCAR champion, used to race in.
Well, I mean, we've already gotten a little bit of that, though, Bad. Like, you know, with Hocevar and Honeycutt and some of these guys that, you know, came through the same pipeline that, you know, you and I both spent a lot of time around with a lot of the teams that we were running on.
Well,
Like,
I was
hey,
just around. I wasn't really running.
Hey, I still got the stat that I beat Hocevar for a win at Kentucky in 2018 or 2019. But up at the front, Sean Conklin pulling that outside line with him, and now the 27 machine of Roger Pierce goes up to the top line to try and cover that momentum because now they're starting to sweat. The outside line is really coming alive here. 44 laps on the board, and now we're getting to see some movement. Derek Heitman going to stay to the bottom lane, though, pulling the 6th machine of Brandon Pasalacqua with him. And they're going to try and hold down that bottom lane and move forward here.
Yeah, while we're chatting there, the outside line fully formed up, and these guys are racing. We are near stage end.
Well, fuel cycle here, because what was it 55, 54 laps they were talking about last night? Somewhere in that window?
Our full fuel cycle, yes, was 56. Ooh, a little bit of sliding there. Inside line.
Yeah, that bottom line really struggling to keep the momentum up. You see how difficult it is transitioning off of the bank onto the flat here on the front straightaway. You saw Derek Heitman having a little bit of a struggle there behind the wheel, loses a little bit of time. That really opens the door for Roger Pierce and Sean Conklin to run with it. The question is, are they going to come down to the bottom? Yes, they are. Here comes Sean Conklin and Roger Pierce at the inside line. That's going to leave Tommy Gossett on the outside without much of a helping hand. Goulat's going to get to the back bumper, but, I mean, you got to wonder how what's going to work for him because those were two really fast cars that were leading the outside lane, and now they're 2 cars short here as they go down to the bottom. Down the back straightaway, you see them snake back up to the top, trying to pull the 07 machine of Tommy Gossett. Guess they heard me talking about it and decided, you know what, we're going to go up here and give our buddy a helping hand. We are a team after all. Down the front straightaway here, Roger Pierce leading lap 48. Brandon Pasalacqua down to the inside lane with Randy Mullins trying to make something happen against the Ryco machines that have locked up the top lane.
Yeah, you don't seem to be getting the pushes anymore from the cars being locked up as close, like being within half car length. It seems like we've got much bigger gaps between the cars.
Yeah, the bottom line, man, it feels like once we get to this run in the tires, that inside line is just a quick hold to the back. And these guys, last second dive down to the inside for Gulata. Doesn't matter which lane it is, he's going to try and get that car to work in it. Gulata now leading the inside row with help from the 6th machine of Brandon Pasalacqua, but you know, as I was alluding to a second ago, I just feel like that outside line's where you want to be. As you see a wiggle out of the 98 machine, a little bit of a loose scenario for the CFM machine. And Pasalacqua's doing everything he can to get to the back bumper to push that 98. And here come Levine and Causey down to the inside.
Just doing their own thing, man.
As these two have done so well for numerous years here on the service. Causey up to the back bumper, the 19 Mac Tools Camry here on the front straightaway, but the outside line still getting the pull. Roger Pierce leads Sean Conklin, Derek Heitman, Tommy Gossett, and Justin Levine. That's your top 5 right now as Luke Christian tries to sneak his way up into 5th spot. But the inside line going to get the pull for a little bit down here through 1 and 2 as Justin Levine sends it deep into the corner. But nowhere to go with it right now because there's a log jam of cars to the outside. Man, you know Roger's got to be loving this up here at the front. Especially after the race he had yesterday, you know, getting caught up in somebody else's misfortune.
Oh, just a nice, easy Thursday drive, you know, just checking your mirrors off to make sure your buddy Sean is behind you. I almost said his nickname, but I kind of told myself I'd never say that name on air.
Oh, what was that?
The one that you and Edstrom gave him ever so long ago. I just don't like it.
Oh, the conch.
The conch.
One, right?
I like the conch. That one's
Yeah,
good.
the conch. We should have a splash screen that pops up every time he wins because it feels like it happens every week, every race. And just at the end of it, just, you know, like a Elder Scrolls like fatality screen. It just says you've been conked or something like that.
One day we'll have a media day and we'll be able to do all this.
One day. We got to hire. I think we got to pay our producer more. Is what it really comes down to.
I just need more time.
Right now, it's kind of a logjam a little bit further in the back of the pack here. As these guys trying to find some kind of way to get an advantage on that inside line, but it's just not quite coming into fruition here. You see Levine and Causey losing spots here. Causey clips the apron there, almost loses the back of the Stanley Tools machine. Sorry, that's DeWalt. Coming at him run the same livery, and it confuses me.
One's power tools, one's hand tools.
And I'm just a tool.
True.
That's why I make the big bucks.
You're our tool.
I feel so useful.
And a lot of people pay millions of dollars to see you perform concerts around the world.
Yes. Yes, this was happening. This was happening every minute of every day. A little bit of a peek to the inside here for Sean Conklin. Not going to be able to do anything with it, though. Roger Pierce going to come back down and cover it. Maybe Conklin just trying to breathe a little bit of air to the nose of his Camry. Did you see these two still not giving up on the bottom lane? Causey staying committed to the back bumper of Justin Levine here. Trying to make something happen. Also, 57 laps down. I mean, I think we're about at that point.
Oh yeah. They will be coming down any moment here.
I'll tell you what, I can't think of many tracks that have a sketchier pit road entrance. Like, you know, I instantly think of, you know, Darlington, because you got the wall. Dover with the tire, with the water barrels. Then, you know, Kansas with the messed up pit road entry, and Charlotte with the wall. But here, it's something entirely unique. You know, these guys are going to come down the back straightaway, about halfway down the back straightaway, break down to pit road speed, lose a whole bunch of time, while running the flat of the track where nobody was ever expected to go. Makes Daytona green flag pit stops look like child's play, my opinion.
I can't say I've successfully made it onto pit road here in the race, so.
I've never had to go on pit road in a green flag cycle here.
That's exactly it.
No, 3 wide, almost a bad scenario there. Luke Christian gets into the quarter panel. The 88 machine of Causey's there, putting a car lap down. You see the lap car stuffed up into the fence a little bit through 1 and 2, able to keep it straight, though, down the back stretch. Everybody's going to walk away fine for now. Down to 3 and 4. Roger Pierce still with the advantage over Sean Conklin. The inside line starting to find a little bit more momentum here, though. A little bit more pep in the step as Justin Levine and Joseph Causey still pushing hard to try and reel in this outside lane. And Causey is just about had the back tires lifted up on the 19 machine coming into turn 3.
Yeah, we are starting to see a bit more movement from that inside line, almost up to the second place car. of Sean Conklin. Are we actually going to see the inside line battle for first?
Looks like it's a possibility, but they just have to be perfect. They have to execute every second of every lap here. You see the outside line a little bit off center now. Everybody trying to kind of cool the temps, and I think that's what's opening the window for this bottom lane to be fast. What I'm really surprised by is Justin isn't over here side drafting everybody, trying to pull him back to him.
No, that's pretty risky here. We're only 63 laps in out of 175. After what he did a few weeks ago, probably letting it simmer for a bit.
Oh, I've never known Justin to just let it simmer, but here he goes, side by side now with Roger Pierce through 3 and 4. This is your battle for the lead. A little bit of a bobble out of the 19 machine, going to get the momentum to the top side as Sean Conklin and Derek Heitman form up to the back bumper of the 27 of Roger Pierce to push him back to the point here into turn 1. Down the back straightaway, Roger Pierce with the advantage here. As these guys put a huge gap now in the bottom lane, they start to fall back a little bit. Just that one little wiggle out of the 19 machine undid all the momentum that they've been working for these past handful of laps. Owen down to the bottom. Everybody coming to the inside lane here. Sean Conklin and Derek Heitman going to leave the 27 of Roger Pierce out to dry. Roger Pierce is going to tuck back down in front of Heitman. Looks like we're about to be pitting, boys. Yes, we are.
Green flag, pit stops only on grid vision.
4, 5, 6 cars dive down pit road here. This is the first group. Also got Chris Hudson, Tim Wortman Jr., and Lou Christian opting to pit with the Ryko machines up here at the front. And oh, a big slide. Around goes Roger Pierce in front of Derek Heitman. And Chris Hudson hard to the inside wall on pit road. And Tim Wortman has to come to a stop to avoid getting caught in that. He's going to lose a whole bunch of time. This pack is going to be all kinds of scrambled when they come back out onto the track.
Justin
Now diving
Levine,
in.
Joseph Causey, and Tommy Gossett now entering pit lane.
This is a smart move for these guys. If they'd came down that last lap, they would have been caught up in that same chaos that we just saw, and it would have hurt them so much. And oh, a little bit of contact between Gossett and Levine. But
so much
no
speed.
harm, no foul.
So much made up by Tommy there coming in pit road.
He basically just picked off 2 spots. A little bit of contact between him and Joseph Causey. And Joseph Causey misses the box because he got locked out by Tommy Gossett, who was running on the bottom lane. Causey's box was a lot earlier.
Everybody else coming down pit road this time, so this was probably the max out point. Brandon Pascalacqua and
more
Gitter
issues.
with probably the best entrance out of
Coffey's
everyone.
around. And Alex Coffey is around. A little bit of contact between Gitter and Pascalacqua. Up at the front of this pack here, there's a lot more collision than I was expecting to see on pit road. As we got a couple more stragglers coming in now. The 74 machine, as well as the 33 of Chris Vincent, and it looks like the 17.
Justin Levine getting right out front in Sean Conklin. So great pit stop by Justin Levine.
Yeah. And Conklin, a really smart move there. Ducking down to pick up the 19 of Justin. Knows that he was losing a whole bunch of time there not being in a pack. Because the pack that he pit with, they all had an incident. So these 3 all working together now. They see Joseph Causey get into the picture. They just slowed down to pick up Causey. So 3-car breakaway here right now as they start to work their way through some of the guys that are just now leaving pit road. It's going to be interesting to see where they cycle through to.
Yeah, we see Justin Levine, Sean Conklin, and Causey coming around at pace as they as they get around Pascalacqua. Definitely a great pit stop by Pascalacqua and Benefield nonetheless, and they will be able to get right back up to them. But after this pit cycle, we are going to see a major dynamic change in this race.
Oh yeah, you thought we had a little too much single file racing to start this thing off. It's about to get even more so as these guys all separated into individual groups. A lot of cars broke off from each other there based on just issues on pit road. But with 70 laps on the board here, green flag pit stops out of the way. We're going to go to a brief word from our sponsors. We'll be back to bring you more of the OB Builders Cup Series racing action live here on the grid.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And you see just very disjointed right now all the way through the field. A lot of incidents on pit road really shook up the running order, as well as just a separation of the cars here. There's the biggest pack that we have right now. That is being led by none other than Tommy Gossett and Derek Heitman. A little string of cars right behind them, about the same size, but as equal as all these guys are in pace, if everybody's lined up and formed together, I mean, you're not really going to gain much of an advantage. Oh, yeah, they're very disjointed. You can see it in the later cars in the pack, too. Everybody's still shuffling for position, trying to figure out who they want to vote off the island. And yeah, it's just coming down to everybody not really holding the tightest of wheels here. As you see just all the wiggle. That right there, that, 16th of a second where you got that right front fender out in the air, that's a 16th of a second where you're putting more drag on the car than you are putting draft, which is slowing you down. It's slowing the car in front of you down, and it's slowing the cars behind you down even more because they're trying to figure out where the hell you're actually going to end up going. No, we were using Nick for that for the longest time, but we found out about halfway through that he couldn't do math either. Yeah, we need a Larry Mack in the truck with you. Is what we need. But all eyes on the front. And this right here, this is the difference. See these guys right now, all single file, about a half car length apart from each other. And that's where the speed is. These guys, we don't see anybody really weaving back and forth. We don't see anybody trying to make moves or anything. Everybody's just, rolling with the status quo here. Go a little bit back here. Once we come out onto the tri-oval, you're going to see a lot of movement here in these further packs. See right here, it starts with the fourth car in line, up a little bit. That's losing momentum. And it's just everybody else is following, trying to figure out, how to stay attached to the back of the machine in front of them. And, you spend all the time weaving the tires back and forth. You're going to hurt the momentum on that. And, a couple seconds where you're going to be tucked out from behind. Whereas this first pack of cars, they're flying straight as an arrow. Oh. Derek Heitman in the 22 machine and Randy Belk. And it looks like Tommy Gossett Yeah, oh man. No, that's a handful of cars. The 18 machine was in as well as the 23 of John Bender. What happens here? Derek Heitman gets up to the back bumper. The 07 machine of Tommy Gossett. Gossett gets loose. Heitman chases it up the track, I think, to avoid and. Hang on. See what we got here. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe we get a quick look at the. Yeah, we got. Yeah, because it looks to me like he noticed that Tommy was getting loose, and they're in the same channel. So Tommy probably said, hey, I'm wrecking, and you chase it up the hill there. Yeah, he chases up the hill, and once he gets up there, it de-wedges the car. It throws all the weight of the car to the right rear tire. Because that's what they're in, right? Whatever tire is the most load, that's going to be the tire that grips. These guys are 100%, flat to the floor as much as they can be. You send up there to the outside of the track, it's going to unsettle the weight, and around that car is going to go. And unfortunately for him and a handful of others, there wasn't really anything he could have done to save it, because if he stays on the bottom lane, he's just going to loop Tommy around backwards into the wall. And it's the last thing you want to do to a teammate and a friend. And also, you're going to wreck your car doing that, guaranteed. So, difficult situation. But the rest of the field taking the opportunity to come down pit road here. Chris Hudson opting to stay out for now in the 43 machine. Probably lead a lap, get those 5 bonus points. Yeah, I made that mistake a year or so ago here in the Xfinity car, and I went into turn 1, felt great. Came out turn 2, I was on my roof.
I'm sorry, Sheldon. I've had no audio since the commercial break.
Well, man.
We've been talking away here.
I said a lot of insightful things there.
Well, no, you had audio. I never.
Oh.
This is what happens when I'm not used to talking here. I mute myself for a commercial break.
I'm sitting here talking to myself.
Yeah, hey, you're pretty insightful. You're answering.
You said some pretty insightful stuff, too.
Well, thank you. We'll never know.
World will never know how great of things Darby said there. Actually, he spent the whole time cussing Tommy Gossett for getting loose.
It's true.
Yep. He said next week he's not going to update the trading paints right before the race for the spec map.
All I gotta say is that is one of my favorite things, though, is hopping on every week and seeing a different paint for Tommy, because it's rare that we've seen someone have an actual legit different custom paint every week.
Well, I'll tell you, though, the options for a custom paint are so easy on here, because there's this guy out there. His name's Johan, who's painted most of the field, and I've heard his prices are pretty dang cheap.
Oh yeah, you get yourself a good deal. Probably the best value on all of iRacing.
And he does do some pretty great stuff with these cars. I mean, every week see his name stickered on somebody's machine, and it always looks good.
And Paul Begroli is saying in chat, Derek and Tommy race in separate channels in this league, as they are in different teams.
Pace car takes the dive down to the bottom of the track here out of turn 4. Field in the hands of Chris Hutchison and Justin Levine. Older tires on the inside line. This is going to be interesting to see what happens here, if that 43 machine sinks or swims. Right now, a good launch, though, for Chris Hudson. Going to get himself clear of Justin Levine coming into turn 1, but here comes the outside line push from Joseph Causey to the back bumper of the 19 machine. That's probably going to rocket him down the back straight away, but doesn't look like it's doing a whole lot, though, because Sean Conklin doing an incredible job tandem drafting the 43 machine of Hudson.
Yeah, it's going to be to the detriment of Sean Conklin, though, because those are 19-lap older tires that are in front of him and on the inside line. That's going to become painful soon.
And down into turn one, Justin Levine up to the front of the pack here with Joseph Causey on the back bumper. And these two have just stayed glued to each other since we dropped the green flag 88 laps ago.
Yeah, if they do manage to get in front of Chris Hudson, I imagine the two of them will drop down together. Otherwise, I don't think they will drop down. They'll just stay together, whether they fall back or manage to get that lead.
I feel like Justin might also just want to stay up on the outside line, right? Like, if he can get the momentum to work up there. And we saw at the later stint of the run how slow the bottom lane ended up falling.
It is.
Maybe he's getting...
It's dependent on the shoe. It's dependent on how the other drivers dictate the race.
Yeah. Right now with Chris Hudson holding the inside line, it's going to be easier than ever. And there's nowhere that Sean Conklin can really go. It's not like you can send 3 wide down the middle here like, you know, we see at Daytona and Talladega. You don't really have the option because as soon as you do that, somebody's probably going to wreck. Also, they've got good help up there with them, too. I mean, Adam Benefield, he's no slouch here at the super speedways.
As the track gets cooler, I think we are going to see, just as we did last night, the outside line, everyone get a bit more racy because they have the ability to be more racy, as they never did in the heat earlier in the day.
Well, the sun is down, the lights are out. Track temp is dropping into the lead, down to the bottom of the track. Here comes Justin Levine and Joseph Causey.
Yeah,
they're able to clear themselves. Yep, they were able to clear themselves off of the nose of the 43 machine of Chris Hudson. And here at the start-finish line, 92 laps in. And one sim, or yeah, I'm pretty sure it's one sim here, right? Right, Austin?
Did my mic not come through there?
No, it did not.
Okay, yeah. They are on the same team. Edstrom is the one who's on a different team, just as Derek and Tommy are on different teams.
10-4. I'm just making sure I'm calling them by the right team name, though. Oh, and right there, that's where you see that 19-lap cycle on the tires not going to pay off for the 43 of Hudson. You see him get tight right there in behind the 88 machine of Causey. And now he just gets hung out to dry all the way to the back of the pack. He's going to go.
Yeah, Benefield wasn't having any of that. Just puts his nose to the inside and sends him on back.
Oh, and Shane Clore slides up off the bottom lane. It's going to be 3 wide here because Roger Pierce is not going to stay in line. And that's going to cycle the 83 machine of Benefield out. But here comes Derek Heitman trying to get to the back bumper of the Team Conti Chevrolet down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Clore getting bailed out, but just as he was getting bailed out, his bailout has been rescinded, and he is back in the sucker hole.
And that's what happens, though. You know, these guys here at these plate tracks, you know, they know who they can work with. They know who they can't. And, you know, when you see somebody, you know, shuffle out a lane there accidentally, it's the first guy that gets sent to the back.
Yeah, this is a tough. In this field, you shouldn't be accidentally going into another lane.
Yeah, and it's just it's the nature of the beast. I mean, it's like that in A Open, B Open. Anytime we go to the super speedways, there's that one guy that'll get up to the front, and you know, for whatever reason, he's just not able to keep the car positioned exactly where he wants it. And it's not an easy task. Like, you really got to work at the wheel to make sure that you're not making those micro adjustments that, you know, send yourself in the wrong lane. But unfortunately, if you can't keep it where it belongs necessarily, you find yourself at the end of the field. As is now single file here with the 1-sim teammates of Justin Levine and Joseph Causey leading the charge. Directly behind him is Sean Conklin with Chris Vincent and Brandon Pastelacco rounding out the top 5.
P6
also sitting...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, my bad. But sitting in 8th place right now on a really good run, and one I haven't seen out of him in a while, the 23 machine of John Bender. You know, when I was covering ISCA earlier in the season, that 23 machine, man, he was stout. Always started at the tail end of the field and always found his way into that top 10, top 5 bracket. But a bit of a rougher go about it here for the OB Builders Cup for him.
He never filled the form out.
I mean, I think it's probably because he hates cars and hates drivers. So, I mean, what the hell does he have to base himself off of? But John Bender out here putting together a really good performance here at the big track.
If anyone ever wonders why so many people hate things, it just means they never answer the questionnaire. That's it. You know, they fill out some things, but they won't answer, you know, simple questions. I'm not trying to steal their credit card information.
He might be. You never know with this guy.
What was the name of the street you were raised on? Don't worry about it.
You already have that.
These are all part of the Grid Vision Employment Questionnaire.
He also has my mother's maiden name and the last 4 of my social. I have nothing to be afraid of, though. Canadians can't do mean things.
This is, well, unless it's war time.
Oh, we don't talk about that. International champions of war crimes up there. Anyway, Justin Levine's still in charge of the field right now. Not much changing happening up here at the front of the pack. A little bit of an outside line is starting to form there. Looks like with the 20 machine of Alex Coffey.
Yeah, we got quite a few lap
sorry.
cars in the back here, making it a little bit hard to find certain drivers in the field right now. But
here comes Tommy Gossett trying to try his hand on the outside lane. Roger Pierce going to go up to the top 2, and in between them is going to be Tim Mortman Jr.
yeah, we got 6+ cars probably hoping for a caution so they could get their lap back.
I think Heitman's hoping for one because I think he still got a little bit of damage from that wreck earlier, but doing a good job holding on here in the mid-pack. See a little bit of a crease on the back. That's a lot more than a little bit of a crease on the back bumper. Hell, if that was real life, that would be a lottery-winning damage because that would mean about 30 counts more downforce where that back bumper is stuffed in.
Yeah, I want to apologize to Heitman for picking him tonight. Maybe if I double picked him, it would have canceled out.
Probably should have. I mean, I can't say I blame you, though. I mean, Heitman has been on a heater the past 2 weeks with the wins at Pocono last week and, you know, the win last night in NIS. And so, you know, the pace that I've expected to see out of that 76 machine.
Yeah, I'm not trying to throw a wet towel on someone's iRacing career, but picking them.
Yeah, we're all pretty bad about that. I mean, that's why I don't pick Justin, because I have to hear him yell at me when he wrecks. It's always my fault somehow.
So yeah, I do it, just troll him.
That's why we go with the triple pick for him sometimes when we come to super speedways. That way, you know, he can't figure out which one of us it was that actually cursed him.
Yeah, no pressure.
But now, Patrick Gitter comes up to the top line. He wants to make a play for the front here as he's got the 27 machine of Roger Pierce on his back bumper. And Gitter's been quiet.
Yes, he has. It's usually someone that we see battling up front week to week. When it came down to the championship weeks last year, sorry, for covering NIS, he was one of the drivers who was up there. Also, a few of our championships in the actual leagues that we broadcast as well.
I'll tell you what I always like when I see out of the 21 machine, whether it's the excellent RCR themed paint schemes with the old classic Rockwell Automation 21 number font, or the just overall outright aggressive but not dirty driving style. That was a fun one to watch. As we see Sean Conklin come up to the outside now, try to take the charge up here on the top.
Yeah, first it was Brandon Pascalacqua and then Conklin, but Conklin has since dropped back down. But several drivers did get in front of Gitter there and were potentially going to make a run for the front, but decided not to.
And what Conklin's trying to do right now is he's trying to figure out how to make a move happen. Because it's so difficult to do, and he didn't get the opportunity last night in NIS to really experiment a whole lot. He led, you know, what, 90% of the race, and he had an internet failure?
Yeah, it was pretty early on.
Anyway, all he did was lead yesterday, and then somebody pulled the plug on the router.
He did his homework.
Yeah, he did. He should have done his homework. It's probably what the problem was. I think he also might just be realizing that maybe those two cars in front of him are a little tricky to get past here without a whole lot of help.
Well, One Sim is a Ryco affiliated team. Well, some of the drivers are. I can't say the team is, but some of the drivers are affiliated with Ryco, so they are running the same stuff that the licensed Sean Conklin would be running.
Yep, very close match in pace.
Looking at the bumper, Kazi is one of the ones running Ryco stuff.
Yeah, so you got two guys. You got two guys running the same equipment that you got underneath you, and just so happens to be that those two guys are two guys that have probably more experience in a draft scenario than anybody on the service together.
And speaking of team dynamics, that is one of the interesting things about One Sim is that they are a mixed match of drivers from other shop teams. So they are not actually running the same equipment, everyone on their team. Johan is running Conti equipment, whereas they're not. So.
Yeah, it's just a mixed group of drivers, but a really decent energy behind all of them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But that
Great
outside line is making a run again for the lead.
Yeah, Pasalacqua getting up to the back bumper. The 10 machine is Sean Conklin trying to propel him around the outside lane past the 19 and the 88 tandem. And it looks like they're starting to make a little bit of headway now. The outside line's starting to get formed together a little bit better. I mean, when I look at the names up there, I expect great pace. You know, you don't see Sean Conklin go anywhere where there's not a lot of pace behind him. And you got Pasalacqua there, a potential favorite for the championship here this season, as well as Patrick Gitter and Roger Pierce. And Gossett's up there in that line somewhere. Yep, right there behind Wortman. Everybody doing a good job holding it straight. Right here, the tri-oval, every time they come here, I don't know if it's just me or if you feel it too, but every time we come into the quad oval here, I just get so nervous because I know how tight, how difficult it is for these cars to just turn on that front stretch.
Well, what we'll do here is coming out of 4, we'll hop on with Gulata, and we'll see him go through the tri-oval, and we can see how menacing it is.
Let's see right here. It's just that little kink here. You got a couple guys. Gulata's doing a really good job holding a straight wheel. You see him go up to the outside line now, trying to take the spot away from Tommy Gossett. Gossett right there on the quarter panel, going to concede. Let the 98 machine go with it. Too early to make a risky move. Tries to take a peek to the inside, not able to get it. Gulata going to stay right to the back bumper of the machine of Tim Wortman here into turn 3.
Let's hop on with Evan Say now, as he does have Gulata on his outside. And see, he does have to go a little bit lower than we did see with Gulata, but because he did have that vehicle on his outside.
Also, when you got a teammate up there too, I always give an extra 2 or 3 inches just to make sure. Because the last thing you want to do is actually slide up into somebody that you have to talk to after the race is over. As the inside line is now falling backwards, Justin Levine losing a lot of momentum. Sean Conklin way out in front in charge right now with Brandon Pasalacqua closing up to the rear bumper here in the quad oval.
Inside line, though, as they go around the corner, is getting some good momentum. Definitely a lot more momentum than we saw earlier in the race by comparison. But definitely not enough still in the backstretch.
Yeah, we're at that point in the tires, man, where these guys are starting to kind of fade back if they run the bottom line too much. And it feels like that outside, man, is just starting to really pick up the pace. And I'm wondering, too, because it looks like the low line's a little bit on the more snug side. If that outside is going to be where you're going to be to wear the tire to kind of force the car to be free.
Inside line making headway. Justin Levine is getting almost par with Sean Conklin. Probably around this corner, we will see him par. Nope, not par, still half a car length.
Yeah, it's so difficult because it's just Joseph Causey and Justin Levine down there on the bottom line. They can keep the bumpers to each other. And Causey kind of struggling in the dirty air of the Mac Tools Camry. Meanwhile, that outside, man, you got 4 cars formed up pretty damn tight.
Oh, Conklin to the lead in front of Levine and Causey. Playing both lanes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do here at these play tracks, too. And down to the bottom, here comes Brandon Passalacqua with a last-second charge into turn 1. Going to take the inside line, pull Justin Levine along with him, and Brandon Passalacqua now your race leader. Here's the question, is he going to go up to the top and try to block the run because you know it's coming? Yes, he does, up to the front, and he's going to throw a huge block on the 10 machine of Sean Conklin down to 3. Now side by side through 3 and 4, Justin Levine trying to use this as an advantage to get back up there to the point. Now going to have it, though. 5 bonus points going to go to the 6 machine as he comes across the line in charge here this lap. They're 18 laps in. Now we're starting to see a little bit of movement. Causey to the back bumper, the 19 down the back straightaway, trying to find some kind of advantage. Not going to find much, though. A little bit of an off-center push from the 21 is going to put Sean Conklin into the middle. Tries to make a move on the 6 machine of Passalacqua, but the door closes as soon as it opens. Passalacqua going to hold on, but Justin Levine going to lead this lap.
Yeah, we see cars on the outside, definitely ducking, trying to get a little bit of extra air on the nose, cool the engine down a little bit so they can push more.
Oh, here we go. 3 wide down the middle, down the back straightaway. Here comes Conklin with a huge shove from Patrick Gitter into 3. And Passalacqua hung out to try a little bit of contact there. Gitter just about goes around off the nose of the 33 machine of Vincent.
Yeah, Gitter got very loose there, but ultimately holds on to it and is getting right back to Conklin's rear end to push him.
Now, with all the checkups there on the outside lane, that's going to open the door for the bottom. Here comes Justin Levine with a charge to the front. Back down here at the bottom in the lead is the 19 machine. What's he going to do here? Here comes a huge shot from Patrick Gitter. The top line going to close in ever so slightly. A huge run into 3 and 4. It's going to be neck and neck out of turn 4. And if this was the final lap, this would be the finish of the season. At the stripe this time, Conklin by a nose over Justin Levine.
Some fantastic racing that we're seeing here on Grid Vision tonight. Is definitely a treat to call these drivers. You know, I'm going to knock on wood a little bit, not play the audio one for that because that drives me crazy. But these drivers are the best that I think we've ever covered on Grid Vision, period. The lack of cautions is beautiful.
No, hands down. I mean, these guys did a great job putting this lead together here. It feels like the Goodwood Festival of iRacing. You've got the best of the best out here. You know, there's no slouches anywhere in this field. Even, you know, the lowest I rating guys in here, you could take them into an A Open anywhere, and they could have the possibility of walking away with the win. And, you know, a lot of these are the guys that we cover in NIS. Some of these are guys that we really only see around here. You know, a little bit of a mixed bag, but these are the best of the Cup Series drivers here on iRacing. I mean, hell, not even the Coke Series can get racing like this at Atlanta.
No, we've never seen racing like this at Atlanta. This is just absolutely insane.
Incredible stuff. But right now, the cream rising to the top here. Sean Conklin up at the point now with a huge shove from Patrick Gitter. Going to get him clear of the inside lane now. Now, what's the question? Gitter's going to stay in line. Didn't have the ability to come down and try and cover a run from Levine. Levine fighting back hard with a huge push from the 88 of Joseph Causey.
On balance, off balance. The cream always rises to the top.
I tell you what, this doesn't surprise me too much, man, you know. And we got Sean Conklin. He's won pretty much everything he started this season. It feels like everything we've covered, you know, with just a couple of bad breaks in the past few weeks. But here goes Patrick Gitter down to the inside line, and he's going to try and go toe-to-toe with Conklin here. Not able to get Levine to the bumper in time, though. It's going to be a dead heat down the back straightaway as Roger Pierce shoves the 10 machine, trying to get him to the point here. Down to turn 3, Justin Levine gives a little bit of a push to the 21 of Patrick Gitter. Gitter going to try and run with it here on the low lane, but not able to clear over the 10 machine of Conklin as Conklin swings it wide out of turn 4. Conklin going to lead another lap here. And these guys have been so nice to each other for so long this evening. I'm just wondering when somebody's going to start getting aggressive with those side drafts, try to make big moves, when we're going to see the aggressive last-second blocks, because it feels like it's brewing with the intensity starting to boil over here. Patrick to get her to the lead here through 3 and 4. Does he hold at the line? Yes, he does. 5 bonus points going to the 21 machine here as he crosses the start-finish line for lap 128.
150 to go. Non-stop action is what we've had here, except for that one time that we did stop, but we're not talking about that. We are talking about these drivers going crazy fast around Atlanta. EchoPark Speedway.
We've got one more pit stop left.
Taking a look at stint length, 44. So we did get a little bit more laps than we did project from NIS last night. So 44, so we're seeing about 25 laps from now, roughly.
Somewhere in that ballpark. We're getting there. We're definitely getting there. I mean, these guys have one more pit stop left in store. And I think a part of the reason why you're seeing so much intensity right now is because we are getting to that point. You don't want to be in the middle of the pack. We saw what happened to the guys that, you know, were a couple cars back from the lead coming on pit road. A lot of guys lost a lot of time, and nobody wants to take that unrequired penalty this late in the race because it'd be impossible if you're in the third pack to get anything done because we know how hard it is to pass here at Atlanta. I mean, we've watched... Oh, absolutely. We've seen so much crazy stuff happen, but it's so difficult for these guys to make moves. But as we are sitting here, 131 laps on the board side by side, still a ways to go before the green flag pit stops. We're going to take our what should be our final commercial break from the racing action. We'll be back to bring you more here on the grid.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back on you.
And welcome back to the OB Builders Cup Series, live here on Grid Vision. The 20 machine of Alex Coffey goes through a spin here in the quad oval. And that was right before people started to make the moves for green flag pit stops. So Definitely changes the game here as we get a look at what happened here. The 20 machine tries to come down in front of Adam Benefield, tries to clear himself into that little bit of a hole that was there, and it just closed as soon as he tried to make the move. And off the nose he goes and backed up into the fence.
Yeah, the inside line there was Acapado, and they could not go there.
I'll tell you what, though, it's a fortunate break for a lot of these guys that this happened right here instead of once everybody started pitting, because this is definitely one of those tracks where you can get yourself trapped a lap down if you're not careful.
Yeah. So what this caution does mean for us, though, is these drivers are all going to come down. They're going to get their tires. They're going to get fuel. And it's going to be nonstop barn burner action till the end. As Brian Britt would say, high octane.
Absolutely. As we see Patrick Gitter leading the field down pit road here. And this right here, this really plays into Gitter's hand. There's a lot of question marks that would be coming later on in this race with, you know, green flag pit stops and all the stress and chaos that comes with that. All that's kind of wiped off. Now all he has to do is get the thing to the restart zone, get a good launch, make sure that whoever's starting directly behind him plays in tow with him and gives them the push they want to. Then it's more or less off to the races with control of the front of the field, so long as he can time his blocks right.
Not the best launch out of the pits by Gitter there. We did see the car slide a little bit, and it does not pay off as Conklin does get out in front of him. But we do believe Conklin might have had a little bit of two-tire magic there or something like that.
Yeah, it looks like Conklin
Yes.
could have opted for, 9-second pit stop there. That's either 2 tires or just fuel, right?
Yes. 9 seconds usually means 2 tires, though. I mean, like, that'd be a very awkward amount of fuel.
Evan Say also up here at the front of this thing.
One day we'll get like actual fuel and things like that as a
One
stat.
of these days. So look at the Triple Dale machine of Evan Say working his way around here under caution. Currently your race leader from EchoPark Speedway.
Like, for
Evans
very
is-
obvious reasons, iRacing doesn't give us stats like that because, you know, it could be exploited and someone could cheat, you know, using something like that. But maybe one day, you know, we'll
Oh yeah,
trust
somebody
it.
could. Yeah, somebody. Well, I mean, you know, as soon as that happens, somebody's gonna utilize, you know, like tire temps, lifetime tire temps. The reason we don't have access to that, people would find a way to exploit that pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
Because
we already
you know,
do
as soon as
without
they-
knowing it. So.
Yep. As soon as we get that little box as an option on the black box, you know, surely somebody's gonna figure out a way to make an overlay for it. Right now at the front of the pack, Evan Say, Sean Conklin. Gonna be interesting to see how this works out. Patrick Gitter cycles back to 3rd position on pit road here with Justin Levine sitting in 4th. These cars work themselves into 3 and 4 here. Green flag coming out with just 35 laps to go. It is definitely going to be a chaotic finish here at Atlanta. Pace car making the quick descent down pit road as these guys work into the OB Builders restart zone for what's hopefully the final time. Green flag is in the air and to the gas. Evan Say, a little bit of a wheel spin on the inside lane. But he gets a better launch than 3rd, and that's really going to open the door for Sean Conklin because he's got Justin Levine up to the back bumper just about. Here comes Patrick Gitter, though, trying to close up to the back of the 333 machine through 1 and 2. Good, a little bit of an arrow push here, a little bit of a bump draft now out of turn 2. But the top line formed 3 cars deep.
Yeah, John Binder making the choice to join the bottom line, as we do see the high side go car to car and not have much of gap. So they are the line that's going to be getting the speed as of now. Evan Say starting to drop back.
And here comes Sean Conklin now diving down to the inside line, trying to cover any run from the 333 machine of Evan Say. Justin Levine staying to the top with Joseph Causey at his back bumper. And this duo right here, I mean, we've seen how deadly they've been all night. Laps are winding down. They've still found each other.
Yeah, I believe they'll be content to just lead the field rest of the night unless the car wants to risk either trying to split them or go to the high side.
And here comes Joseph Causey with a push to the back of the 19 to Levine. Levine going to lead down into turn 1. Sean Conklin trying to fight back on the inside line. Tries to pull a little bit of a side draft on the Mac Tools Camry. Doesn't make much of it, though, as the inside line still struggling to find the momentum.
That is, of course, unless Causey doesn't get in front of Conklin, and then they will drop down.
Oh, absolutely. And here comes Causey again with another huge shove to the back bumper of the 19. Levine going to lead across the start-finish line this go-round. Here comes Conklin with a huge shot from Evan Say down to turn 1.
Mullins
inside
getting
line doing a little bit. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Gulata 3 wide in the middle.
This is going to work. See him carrying a little bit more momentum into 3. Gulata with a bunch of front splitter damage on the 98 machine. Definitely wants to stay in tow as he stays in behind Mullins here. Now Tommy Gossett drops down from the top rope right in front of the 98 machine to throw a block. Now Gossett going back up to the outside trying to make a move. Not able to do anything though, and here comes Gulata trying to thread it through the middle again.
Yeah, Mullins is not allowing anyone by him. We saw Tommy Gossett just try and get there, and he slammed the door shut on him. We did see it a few laps later, and we're probably about to see it again, as he does get in front of Gulata. Not so much a slamming the door or anything, but a good block. But
but here comes Gulata down.
Yeah, Gulata does get it, and he does split them 3 wide in the middle.
Into the middle and slaps him with a side draft too. Going to pull the 54 machine way back into the field here if he can't find a hole in. And that moves Gulata up a handful of spots here. Now just sitting outside of the top 5 right off the back bumper of the 33 machine of Chris Vincent. Just on the edge of the camera shot from the leaders. Up at the point, Justin Levine trying to find the advantage. Gets it across the stripe this time. Going to lead lap 146, going into 147. Down to 1 and 2. A huge shove, though, from the back of the 333 machine. Going to push Conklin back up to the door of Justin. On the back straightaway, it's 80 man's game right now. 3 cars all stacked up. It looks like the inside line's going to prevail down into turn 3. Is Conklin going to be able to clear? Because if he does, you know he's going to go up to the top line and try and cover it.
Chad Kibbe just pulling off track.
And something happened with the outside line there. They lost a whole bunch of momentum. As you see the inside line pull.
Oh,
and here comes Gittard coming up to the top.
Yes, Gittard to the front. I believe a lot of it does come from the infighting that is happening around Gulata, around the 4th, 5th place in that line, outside line.
Yeah, you've got to have them stacked pretty deep to be able to make anything happen. And right now you're seeing that. We got 3 cars that have been up at the point all day long. All falling back into the pack here just because the guys behind them still fighting their hardest, clawing, trying to get as many positions as they can here. And a little bit of contact. Gittard gets in the door. Benefiel, huge checkup. That should have been a wreck.
Yeah, these drivers expertly maneuver around it, though, and are able to keep all their front ends pointing forward, and we stay green. 25 laps.
And here comes Roger Pierce, leaving Gittard out to dry, trying to leave Levine, too. Levine throws a last-second block through 1 and 2 to hold on to his spot.
Nah.
Levine going back up to the outside, trying to pull off a couple cars on his own as he waits for the 27 machine of Roger Pierce to get to him. Pierce probably about 3 Busch Lattes deep at this point.
Now, are the lattes like the Bud Light line? Because, like, those are like water. Not like are.
I'm not sure.
They're good. You just gotta drink a whole case to feel something.
Oh, yeah. No, it's like thinking about beer when you drink one of those. Busch Light's pretty good beer, though. Really, really crisp and smooth. Always a good end of a hot day kind of beer. Right now, Roger Pierce and Colby Gaming Chevrolet to the back bumper. Levine, a little bit of an offset push, going to send him up the track. Pierce checks off, though, gets off the loud pedal, lets Justin regather himself and stay up here at the point of this charge on the outside lane. A classy move from two guys that week in and week out race under the Ken Byron banner.
And as Roger Pierce did say in chat, he's back up front. He's back. He's here. Him leaving was actually just a figment of our imagination.
He never left. What are you talking about? Roger Pierce is leading.
Oh, and he turns Justin.
Oh, Justin Levine around.
And he
did
saves
he
it.
save it? Yes,
Oh,
he
no,
does.
it doesn't.
No, it's over.
All's doomed. What's up with Atlanta and long wrecks? Like, just taking a long time to come about. But we did see Mullins go off track around all this as well. Looks like he was just trying to avoid them.
Oh, DeCiani gets a huge slap in it. Mullins spinning through the infield grass. That's going to need to be a penalty clear right there for Mullins, unfortunately, because that is an improper pit entrance. I don't know if they're going to cover that or not. See Brandon Pasolacqua getting sent through the grass too, and this is just a case of these guys, you know, the spin happened, and you know these guys don't really have anywhere to go. It's not much time to check up. Here's what happened. A little bit.
Yeah, no malice or anything in that one. That's just a pure racing
just
incident.
A situation, they all got off-centered from each other. The 27 goes high. Levine stuck in the middle. And it looked like a little bit of net code between Levine and the 72 machine of Shane Clark may have been what caused the actual break of traction for Justin. So we see Levine get hit by everything but the Georgia State Lottery. Yeah, that... I don't know, it just looks like there was a little bit of net code contact between him and the 72 that sent him around.
Trash.
Trash. Chase Galvin would be so proud of us right now.
I'll tell him after the race.
Chase Galvin mentioned. Always a good day. Sean Conklin now up in charge of this thing, though, with Evan Say. And look who's worked his way up to third there, the 23 machine of John Bender.
The Sundrop car has been near the front all day. Nice to see. The 23 car. I've never had Sundrop before, but
it is the best.
Go ahead.
It is the best damn thing in the world. Imagine taking a Mountain Dew or a Sprite and turning the gain knob on it up to 11, then breaking it off.
The what
and
knob?
Putting like the gain knob, like
the
like on a
gain
microphone.
knob. Okay,
yeah,
okay. I thought you were
take
making like
knob.
the Pride Month reference or something.
No, oh God, no. No, I'm not gonna get us in trouble. You take the gain knob and crank it all the way up, and then rip the thing off and throw it on the floor. And while you're at it, throw pulp from the lemon and lime in there. It is so good. And one of my favorite sodas of all time. You want to know what's great? When COVID hit and the can crisis came about with all the bottling plants and everything, they stopped shipping it to my area of Virginia. And now I can't get Sundrop if I tried.
See, we had Mellow Yellow in Canada for the longest time, and then it just disappeared, and it never returned. And
buddy, Sundrop makes
it.
Sundrop will make Mellow Yellow taste like seltzer. Promise you.
So what? It's just not carbonated?
Oh no, it's carbonated. It's soda. It's soda with pulp. I don't know why, but it's great.
Well, that's what Fanta is like, the actual normal Fanta. But we're about to race.
Yep, as the lights out on the pace car here, 156 laps on the board into the OB Builders restart zone. These guys slowly creeping their way in. Conklin trying to keep everybody kind of checked up here. Green flag is in the air. Sean Conklin to the gas first. And not a good start for Evan Say. Loses a little bit of time to the 10 machine. Doesn't fall into the clutches of anybody else, though. So able to duck it back down to the inside lane here to try and make a stab at the 10 machine here in the closing laps.
Yeah, not a great start by him, but able to get to the inside line and hold it behind him. Was he before the start line, though?
This might be by design, as we got 3 wide, a couple cars bouncing off each other into turn 3. A lot of jockeying for position around the 12th spot. Roger Pierce to the outside of Joseph Causey, trying to get that outside lane rolling as he gets to the back bumper of the 28 machine of Wortman. And a huge run for the outside line through 1 and 2 as the 07 machine of Tommy Gazzi gets a huge push off the 28 of Wortman down the back straightaway. And this might carry him all the way to the lead because they are hauling right now into 3.
Yes, he is flying. That may be one of the highest speeds we've seen tonight coming out of Gossett right now. But Conklin wants some of it.
And Conklin throws a block on the 07 machine of Gossett here at the start-finish line. Where does Tommy go with the momentum? See him back up right now, trying to let the 10 machine get out there to try and make a stab at a charge for the lead. Because he knows he's probably got one of the best pushers we've seen all night, because Wortman is just absolutely sending the Gray Ghost to the back bumper of the 07.
Coming up to 16 to go. Conklin in control of the field. But is he really in control with the amount of pressure Gossett is putting on him right now?
And down to the bottom lane to try and cover the 333 machine of Evan Say. That's going to check up the outside line a little bit. Wortman has to roll off the gas because Tommy cracked the throttle a little bit, but here comes another huge shot from Wortman, and that shot's coming from 1 car back.
Ooh,
with Roger Pierce just about lifting the back tires up off the 28. And oh, around he goes, up to the wall, into the fence. Shane Clore, a huge crash out of turn 4.
Yeah, it looks like Shane Clore was the original one into the wall, but all the chaos broke out around him as he was in the wall. So we'll get another look back from the Grid Vision chopper and see exactly what happened.
Derek Heitman, Paul Gallimer, 2 cars involved in that, as well as the 58 machine of Richard Kleinman. And Chris Hudson looks like he's done for the day.
Heitman tried to take a 3 wide, failed, and the 20 gets behind him, turns him into the wall. Chaos between the 17 and 19.
Yep. Levine just wanted to be in one more wreck, I suppose. And Shane Clore just getting the worst of it as an entire wrecking ball just disintegrates through that machine.
They call me trash, I'll show them.
Fast, and yeah, Levine just getting hooked there. And I mean, look, we're in the closing laps here. And these wins, as you guys know, are not easy in this series with the bulldog that is Sean Conklin up here at the point. So everybody's trying everything they can to try and make up some track position before this thing's over.
Yeah, Levine went down. I don't think he was expecting Gallimore to be there, but he was, and then Levine goes around. Unfortunate all around. We got some cars on pit road, mostly cars that were involved in the incidents.
Well, this is going to change things up again here. This is going to put Sean Conklin in a lane with the 23 machine of John Bender. Now, John's done a great job to get the track position he's got, but didn't really look like he was comfortable pushing on that last run. Evan Say is going to be sitting up there on the outside line with Tommy Gossett as back bumper, and we know Tommy Gossett knows one thing best, and that is push the car in front of you.
Are we in a different pace car today or something?
Yeah, we are in the Mustang today.
I was about to say, usually our pace car camera is not located within the bumper.
Ford making a resurrection of the original 2005 spec Ford Mustang here.
Just for tonight, one night only.
Did you see these guys double up here at the front? Evan Say with his Very interesting spec mapping. It throws me off just about every week. Car has an angelic glow about it under the lights here at EchoPark Speedway.
Which car is this?
Evan, say when we get like a ground shot camera or something like that, and the lights hit it just right, the entire car just turns white. Something about the spec map on it. I think it's because it's a flat and it's a metallic flat. There it is, right there. You see the the decals and everything just disappear.
Yes.
Definitely a cool paint scheme, though. In the style of, you know, your retro late model school of design. It's cool. Cool to see. Always love the personality behind the paint schemes on here. Especially when you got guys that, you know, run the same thing week in and week out. You really get a feel for who's who.
Not enough threes.
He needs more threes. By the way, pace car dives down out of 3 and 4 into the OB Builders restart zone here again. Sean Conklin leading him in with a good launch here. I would say you're going to dive down to the bottom here to try and get squared up to the back of the 10 to try and make a charge at it. Laps are winding down here. They're 1 and 2, a huge push to the back of Sean Conklin from Evan Say. A little bit further in the back of the pack, Tommy Gossett struggled with the restart, losing time here. Going to duck down to the bottom.
Benefield almost
and it
goes
looks
around.
like everybody's just... Tell you what, he's had a hard time with that tonight. He's been in a couple of situations.
Yeah, it seems to keep breaking out around him. And one of those drivers that seems like cautions are attracted to.
Yep. Right now, Roger Pierce, though, going to line up to the back bumper of the 07 machine of Tommy Gossett here through 1 and 2. A little bit of two-car tango. As these guys try to get up to the front of the pack here, but running out of time, and they're going to need a lot more pushing than what they're getting right now if they're going to be able to compete with the likes of Evan Say and Sean Conklin. Across the start-finish line here, 10 laps to go. And up to the top of the track with a huge block is going to be Sean Conklin, going to try and line up with his teammates.
The field blows by. That was Derek Heitman on the bottom of the field, looking like Derek Cope, but it's only because he does have damage.
The inside lane stalling out. Now the Ryko cars dive in from the top
Benefield
rope.
dead.
Oh, up hard into the wall. Benefield, huge crash. Holy crap.
Hoods up on 2 cars.
Oh, Benefield, I hope to God you're not running a direct drive. And if you are, I hope you took your hands off the wheel, because I bet that one would have hurt.
Scenes from the Grid Vision chopper as Benefield goes flying, doing a crazy pop shove it.
Evan Say just slides up the track.
Oh, pinball.
Gets up into the door, and that is just... Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, if that was a real car, we'd be landing a helicopter somewhere here.
I'm going to say it, Sheldon. Let it rip. Beyblade.
I hate it. I hate it here. You just brought back core memories that I had tried to forget. That's just a hard hit. I didn't know you wrecked that hard at Atlanta.
Oh, that's just brutal.
Do we have the camera this week? Do we have it?
We have the cockpit
Put me in the spin cycle right now, Darby. Let's see. Comes into the corner. Everything's fine. And these are the ones these are the jump scare wrecks. Oh. And
We're not flipping
your
there.
socks?
The gyro wouldn't be too much.
yeah, well, your socks are clean. Your socks are clean now.
We haven't even looked at the other damage that happened.
I don't think there's a point in doing it, because this was more excitement than I could handle for a week. See, Joseph Causey gets caught in it. Chris Hudson gets sent hard into the outside wall. Alex Coffey spins around.
Yeah,
Alex 17 machine.
Tough night for him. He's been involved in damn near everything.
And I'll tell you, Hudson, guarantee you he was locked on the brakes there after the initial contact, but the way the hood's bowed up, I'm pretty sure that the suspension probably gone with it. Very difficult to stop when you're, you know, dragging the rub stops on the front straightaways. We're right on board with Chris Hudson here. And this is a painful spot to be in because there's nothing he can do. All he knows is he just had a car thrown at his Lexan.
Man, this car isn't like some of the other ones that you can see through the hood when the hood comes up, but that's just a wall.
No, what he's doing right there is he's keeping his foot in it because he wants to be predictable. He doesn't want to be stopping and possibly collect another guy in this wreck. And just no way he could have had any inkling that there was a car in front of him there.
But we did watch enough replays to bring us to 1 to go, going back green here.
I'll tell you what. Smoke him if you got him, because it's about to be chaos here.
Well, you know I got him.
Oh, I know you got him. It'll be a 6-lap dash to the finish here. And, well, there's not really many cars after that. These last two incidents that are clean on the track without any damage. So the runs are going to be a lot more difficult for these guys to find.
And the report from Roger is 4 lattes.
4 lattes, he's 4 in. I hope he hasn't told Conklin that.
Well, I think we just did.
Yeah, there's no shot Sean's not listening to this. His car makes a dive down, though. And into the OB Builders restart zone here for hopefully the final time. The green flag is in the air. Sean Conklin with the jump. Tommy Gossett dives down to try and make a Ryko trifecta here on the bottom lane. Going to be successful of it as they come down to turn 1, all lined up bumper to bumper. The outside line not finding momentum. Everybody tucking down to the inside lane here to try and make a final stab at it as we get closer to the finish. Down the back straightaway, the 98 machine of Joseph Gulata tucks to the outside, pulling his teammate of Evan Say along with him. Brandon Pasalacqua lined up with these two Chevrolets. Going to try and make a run for the front here, but do they have enough time? Do they have the momentum in the cars they need at the stripe? 5 laps to go here at EchoPark. And 3 wide as Gulata goes around the outside line with a helping hand from Brandon Pasalacqua. Evan Say falling into the sucker hole here, losing a handful of spots out of turn 2.
Yeah, as we're good 5 laps to go, the outside line is non-existent. Non-existent with the cars that are there are falling back fast. And Sean Conklin is leading Gossett, Roger Ears-Pierce, John Binder, and Justin Levine back in 5th place somehow.
I'll tell you what, when they all start wrecking like they have been here, crazy things happen. Let's try that last time. That gives us 4 laps remaining here. John Binder laying back right now, maybe trying to build a run on the back straightaway. Trying to signal to the outside, trying to get Levine to go with him. Levine goes to the top, but Binder not there, mistimed. Now Binder trying to get to the back right rear quarter panel of the 27 machine of Gossett. Here comes Justin Levine with a huge run around the outside lane with help from the 74 machine of Chris Davis down to 1. Are they going to be able to get to the front? Looks like the run's stalling out as Davis ducks back down to the bottom, leaving Levine out to dry and off the front bumper. Davis almost sideways on the back straightaway off the nose of Randy Mullins, and 3 wide into 3.
And Chris Davis does elect to come back on track. He does safely. That does change the makeup of the field once again. Justin Levine back into the inside and Gitter on the outside. And it is signaling out.
But at the stripe, 2 laps to go. Does anybody have what it takes to get past the Ryko machines up here at the front? Sean Conklin leading 3 cars deep down the back straightaway. Everybody tucked up on the bottom. Here comes Justin Levine trying to make another last-ditch effort to the outside line to make something happen. Just waiting for the help from the 54, Randy Mullins. Here comes Patrick Garrett to the back of the 54 machine at the start-finish line, but white flag in the air. 1 more lap to go here at Atlanta, and it is currently in the hands of Sean Conklin, Tommy Gossett, and Roger Pierce. 1 and 2, Tommy Gossett offsetting to the outside, maybe trying to get some air to the nose. Down the back straightaway, the top line still not there. Slowly inching in, but not enough momentum to really be able to get anything done. It's going to come from the front row here. And here comes Tommy Gossett. Last second to the outside, pulling the side draft on Conklin. Down the front straightaway, door to door, a little bit of contact. And it's going to be Tommy Gossett at the stripe, I do believe.
Gossett did get it. Roger Pierce and Conklin in third. We'll get a nice replay of that checkered flag, and that was a very, very close finish.
Have you ever, Austin?
I have, actually.
Yeah,
once or twice. Believe it or
I think
not.
like the first 3 weeks I was here, we got a photo finish at least one race out of every week.
Last package, that is what happened here, but this package, that is what we get tonight. And we'll just hold
Here
it
we
on
are.
here. See if I could get it in slow motion right as they're crossing.
Dude, this is the technical wizardry he does when he's silent, typically.
Yeah,
So you're getting a peek behind the curtain.
I got it there. Oh, yeah, there we go. Look at that. Would you look at it?
And a great, perfectly timed move by Tommy to get to the outside quarter when he did.
Oh, perfect. And we come to him as he is burning it down.
No, Tommy going for the Alan Kowicki Polish victory lap right now, backwards around the Speedway. As we all know, made ever so famous by Alan Kowicki with his first career win, I do believe was Bristol.
But this was
Tommy
a
Gossett.
long time coming. I'm very proud of him.
I tell you what, I've talked about him so many times, and I didn't say anything about him tonight because it feels like every time I mention how much progress that this man has made as a driver, but not just as a driver, but as a person as well in the past handful of years, it seems like every time I mention it, something bites him. And tonight, man, he just perfect time move, did everything he had to do. And you know, if you're Sean Conklin, this one's gonna weigh in your mind for a bit. But man, Tommy Gossett more than deserves this win. And what, I mean, it's like watching. I couldn't even tell you, man.
It's like
been
watching
since we've
someone
seen
win a
something
race who
like that.
hasn't won a race in a long time.
Oh yeah, definitely that. But it's the unpredictability of plate tracks, and we didn't see much unpredictability tonight. Everything was pretty much cut and dry. But we got a little bit of a view of the plate racing of old here.
I thought he was about to go for a twofer. Don't get greedy, kid. As he goes, we'll take a look at our full race results. Unofficial, that is.
As we sit here looking at the unofficial results, Tommy Gossett leads across the start-finish line with Roger Pierce in a photo finish second. Sean Conklin comes home third after leading at the white flag, followed by Justin Levine, John Bender, Randy Mullins, Evan Say, Patrick Gitter, Chris Davis, and Chris Vinson round out the top 10.
Paul Gallimore in 11th, Luke Christian 12th, 13th, Brandon Pascalacqua, 14th belongs to Tim Wortman Jr., Greg Card 15th, Matt DiCiani, Joseph Galata, Joseph Causey in 18th, Derek Heitman, my pick, in 19th, and Richard Kleinman taking down the 20th position.
And bringing her home at 21st is going to be Alex Coffey, followed by Chris Hudson. Adam Benefield bringing home 23rd with Shane Clore in 24th. 25th place going to Chad Kibbe, followed by Randy Belk, Alexander Carr, Chris Crosby, and Dustin Motley, rounding out the 29-car field. As I attempt to catch my breath here after what we just witnessed, we are going to start pulling some of our podium finishers up here into the booth, and we're going to be starting with third place, Sean Conklin, who led at the start-finish line on that white flag. And man, was there anything else that you could have done to hold off the hard-charging Tommy Gossett in that last set of corners?
Not really. It's just how it is, you know, Super Speedway racing. I'm happy with the finish. That's all you can ask for in a place like this, because anything can happen. So we sit up front all day, good teamwork there at the end, and I told them, like, I wasn't gonna be mad if they made any moves, because that's what I would do. That's what I would do. I mean, Tommy played that perfect, so all props to him. The only thing I could have done was maybe when he poked out, maybe track it up a little bit, but I feel like that could risk a wreck, and I'm not gonna do that when we have a 1, 2, 3 basically locked up. So yeah, just not much more I could have done there. Just Super Speedway. That's how it goes. So, but happy with the finish either way.
All right, we are
So,
receiving word from the truck that this race is under investigation, so we'll have a final result here quickly.
Oh, that's
Does it involve the top 3?
From what I'm told, yes.
Oh boy.
Ruh-roh. Well, before the narrative changes too much, Sean, I just want to ask you, if things stay the way they are right now, how's it feel seeing Tommy get out there and get the dub? Because, you know as well as I know, it has been a hard-fought handful of years for Tommy to get into positions like he's been in tonight, and luck never always shining his way. How's it feel for you as a teammate to see Tommy get out there and, possibly get it? I mean, I know taking away the side of Salt because, you felt like you had the thing won. How's it feel seeing your buddy get it done, though?
Yeah, it's always good. I mean, as a competitor out on the track, you're racing them, and especially when weeks we have like really good setups, you're racing them and you see them as a competitor. But in these team situations, and when you're also not on the track, you root for them, because they're your teammates. So either way, I mean, if you lose the race there at the end, you still look and see who won, and it's your teammate. It's a good feeling, and you still get a good finish out of it, good points. And like I said earlier, I mean, that's all you can ask for at a Super Speedway race. Anything can happen. I could have finished dead last in this race by getting wrecked out, but we made it to the end and got third, got good points, and we'll move on to next week.
Yeah, and also I was going to ask you, how's it feel to actually get to finish one of these things off relatively to where you belong? Because it's been a rocky couple of last events that we've had with you up here in the booth, Sean. It feels like you've pretty much been hit with every possible misfortune you could stumble across.
Yeah, for sure. There's some races that you guys broadcast that I get screwed in, and there's more that you guys broadcast or don't broadcast that I've been even more screwed in. So we're definitely down a lot of iRating. These last couple weeks have been draft tracks, and it's not like we haven't had speed there. It's just, anything can happen with some guys staying out, and it just messes up the whole field, and it completely changes everything. So it's just a lot of risk of getting wrecked at one of these places. So it's always rewarding to have a good finish, but yeah, it's definitely been a lot of misfortune lately in the official side, and it's mainly related to cautions, which is why this league is real good. There's not as many cautions, and you can have long green flag runs, and especially green flag pit stops like we had tonight. So that was refreshing, that was good, and hopefully in the future we'll try to have some better luck in officials.
I look forward to seeing it. And
Race
last but
is
not least,
official.
good news.
Yeah. Results are official.
Well, good news for that. Everybody can breathe a sigh of relief here in the Ryko camp. I do have to say, first off, thanks for coming up here into the booth and talking with us after this one. And finally, who all do you want to thank and shout out for this one? Because, man, it was just awesome, the racing you guys put on. I'm still breathless, so bear with me.
I'd like to thank Randy Bell Construction, Gossip Bus Lines, Ryko, Napa, Best One Tire, and just all the guys that put in time and effort on this setup once again. It seems like we say this every week, but it was difficult to get this set up to where we want it to be, and I say this every week too. It shows because we seem to be one of the only cars that can lead and not get loose. If you're trying to get behind somebody else on a different setup, it's hard to get that lane going when they're really loose, trying to keep them stable and also trying to give them a good push. So that's been the main thing this week, and I feel like we've succeeded with that. So again, thank you to all the guys with all of our pack tests, and Ken with all the hours that he put into getting this set to where it needs to be.
Well, thanks for stepping up and talking with us. And I'm going to hand this on over to Darby now with our runner-up finisher here tonight, and probably the trunkest fella in the field at this point, old Roger Ears Pierce. Roger, you got your ears on?
I got him, brother.
Well,
Oh,
there we go.
yeah.
I was just trying to find where we are so I could make sure my ears were on. But welcome in, Roger. Great race tonight. Even better photo that you sent in for us to have on the broadcast tonight. You did lead 63 laps tonight. Is there anything that you feel you could have done different to get the victory there? Or are you content with the push that you got?
Not mess up on pit road of the first pit stop. Cooked the brakes a little too much, slid it. Paid for the penalty, went a lap down, and I had a lot of fun making people really mad that I was a lap down, being up front, pushing the leaders. That was kind of fun for me,
Hey, it's
Cracked some
iRacing. It's not
lattes,
iTraffic.
enjoying the push. Yeah, exactly. Like it was a lot of fun, man. Nothing we could have done different. I timed it the best I could there at the end, thinking that was my best opportunity. I learned a lot on the top lane early, so the fact that I even got second, I'll take it. I mean, it's a crapshoot.
Well, going into next week, are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I mean, I've worked a lot on my road course racing, so I'm looking forward to it. I did a really good showing at Daytona, I feel like. Sean's just going to be Sean. I'm just going to sit back, drink my lattes, and kind of enjoy the ride, man.
Yeah, we got to figure out something to do with him at road course. It's a bit of a problem. But with that said, Roger, congratulations on your second place. Who do you got to thank?
Colby Gaming, check him out on YouTube. Cat Thompson. Send Credit Union. Obviously, you guys up in the booth, always a pleasure chatting with you guys. I know we're having some fun with this picture. Ken, obviously, Ryko, big victory one. As you can see, anybody on a Ryko set this week had the ability to push and take a push and not get loose out of the corner. Like, it's incredible what we were able to accomplish with all the help from everybody, and truly grateful to be able to run in this league and have some fun.
Yeah, you guys most certainly are building out some great sets, and yeah, feel free to go check them out at Ryko. Just search them up on Google. But with that said, have yourself a great night.
Hey, thanks, fellas.
And off to you, Sheldon, with our winner.
Yes. Sorry, I'm trying to get the old script up, and I've just lost where I am.
Yeah, I gotta
Bear
get
with
my
me.
bugle horn ready here.
And,
Tommy Two-Tone!
Oh, there he is.
and I'm sitting up here right now, man. First off, just gotta say the man that needs no introduction, but apparently does a little bit. Tommy, it feels like I've covered you finishing every position you could possibly finish on the grid. As long as I've been up here in the booth, and there's one position that I haven't had the opportunity to cover you in, and well, here we are right now. Tommy Gossett, your race winner. How's it feel, dude? Because it's been a long time coming.
Finally, that's all I got to say. And like you said, I've finished everywhere on the grid, and most of the time it's been last from something stupid I've done on my own. It's a relief, honestly. It's a relief.
Now, Tommy, I do have to say, and I've harped on it quite a few times here in the booth. You know, I've seen a great change in you, not only as a driver but as a person, throughout the past few years, and it's all culminated into you becoming an animal in the past couple months. I mean, the second place in the All-Star race here for the OB Builders Cup with an alternate strategy that I didn't think was going to work anywhere somehow worked out great, and it just seems like you're finding that speed at the time when it matters the most. What is the secret to success, aside from Ken Byron and Ryko, because we know that's a huge part of it?
Well, that's going to be a good 40% of it. Actually, I'm going to give them a little less credit, 35. The other, well, how many ever percent? You know, I'm from Tennessee, so I'm not good at math. That's all God, because without him, nothing is possible. And then, the other 5% is just actually caring and trying and wanting to keep going and doing better. Like, I could just hang my head low and say, oh, I wrecked again, I screwed up. It is what it is. It's just a video game, but it is just a video game. But some people, stuff means more to them, and this means more to me. I've got a great group of people behind me, like you said, Ken, Sean, Roger, Derek, all my teammates at Ryko, Victory One. Of course, I got God Got obviously I know it's going to sound a little weird, but my mom, you see Gossip Bus lines splattered all over my car. That's her. So I just got a great group behind me who supports me. I couldn't do it without them.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear because some people go without that support. And the next question I'll ask you is, man, just that last lap, dude. Like, I knew you were going to try something because I know Tommy. I know he's not going to sit there and ride second, regardless of if there's team orders or what the plan is. I know you're going to try and stick the nose out there. How long did you think about that move? How long did you have that one simmering in the back of the brain?
Entering turn 3. I was planning to just push Sean, but when I saw that I had a little bit of momentum and my bumper was a little bit detached from him, I just had to try to slide up there. I was all in for getting us a 1-2-3, but I saw the opportunity and had to go for it.
Oh man, I gotta say it was an excellent move. The time the side draft, perfect, and you gave us something to call, man, because I thought we were going to have a snoozer coming to the start-finish line, because I remember last night, and I asked, y'all were just all lined up, log jam, nobody trying to move on anybody, so it was refreshing to see a little bit of action to close out here, because I felt like those cautions may have taken away a little bit from the racing action, but final question is just going to be, who all do you want to thank and shout out for this?
Well, it feels like I've already done it. I got to thank God. Without him, none of this is possible. I got to thank Ken for building these wonderful setups. I got to thank y'all for the great broadcast. I got to thank Randy and everybody on the admin team of OB Builders Cup Series, putting on a wonderful league. I got to thank Gossip Bus Lines, obviously, and all our partners, the Ascend Federal Credit Union, Napa, Bridgestone, Rush, Rutherford County Co-op. Just, you can go off the list. You see my rainbow of paint schemes I run there. They're all a partner somehow. And, winning tonight in this new Air Force car that Johan did for me, my grandpa is the man I look up most to in my life, and he was in the Air Force. So that's why I'm running the Air Force car specifically instead of just my generalized American flag one. So to come out first time and get a win for him, that really feels good.
Absolutely respect that call, man. And thanks for coming up here and talking with us, man. Congratulations on the big victory tonight. Try not to burn it down too much.
Thank you, and God bless America.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Anyway, we're going to move on here. Old Darby, what'd you think of the race here tonight, man?
Fantastic. Especially after last night in the race that we saw. It was more drivers, worrying about iRacing and make sure they had great team finishes. A night like tonight, we get the drivers to let loose a bit more, and they successfully do that week to week without a massive amount of cautions. Like, being in the booth, 2, 3 cautions, 4 cautions, that's great in a race. That just resets the field and brings great action, and this is exactly what we want to see from a race.
Oh yeah, it's natural cautions too. It's not like what we saw last week in NIS at Pocono, or
that's bullshit. This is great.
yeah, like this. These are just guys going out there trying their hardest with difficult to drive cars, and occasionally busting their tail. But that's racing. You see that every Sunday with the Cup Series, and heck, these guys put together, in most cases that we've covered, these guys put together a cleaner, better through and through product than what the Cup Series seems to be able to deliver most weeks. And these are just guys on computers. They can't even feel what the car is actually doing. They feel what the wheel tells them, and maybe they have a butt kicker underneath them, and that's all you got.
Well, they say the Coke Series is the Coke Series, but this is the Working Man Championship, and I honestly think this is more important than even Coke. They just got money.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these are the best of the best that you'll run into on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Doesn't matter. The bragging rights are huge here for the OB Builders Cup Series.
Exactly.
But from the entire Grid Vision team, we'd like to thank you for watching and participating in the chat. For more information on getting your league broadcasted or starting your career in broadcasting, contact us on Facebook, X, or email us at info@gridvisionlive. Special thanks to Andrew Cardinal of Whiplash Sim Cams for providing the cameras used on today's broadcast. As well, once again, a big congratulations to Tommy Gossett on a stellar performance here, winning tonight's race from EchoPark Speedway. This has been Sheldon Atkins, joined in the booth by Austin Derbyshire, as well as our producer, Austin Derbyshire. And we will see you next time on The Grid.